So I'm kind of curious. Did you guys become president?
President in Yes Your Grace?
No, in the political machine 2020 that I've been seeing you guys play.
Oh yeah, I did. I did. I lit the world on fire. I let it all burn. And Bernie Sanders is now the president of the United States, thanks to yours truly. Although we have not played each other.
That was in 2044 or
I'm gonna
so.
get 1-star reviews.
2044. I'm pretty sure Bernie will be long.
I just mean that it didn't happen right away, right?
Oh yeah, I did lose 8 times in a row before I ended up winning. I lost once with Bernie. I lost once with Trump. I lost once with Warren. I lost once with. I think I tried to win as Romney and lost as Romney. And then eventually, my 7th or 8th playthrough, my 2nd or 3rd time with Bernie, I won with him. So, but it's
that's a good sign, though. It means the game has some difficulty to it because it's seems like a bit of a simple game at first, but
it is pretty simple. It's like bobbleheads type characters. I wish they had the debates. They don't. They have things like interviews or other things you can do with TV characters, but there's no actual debates. Mm-hmm. I think the game is a little bit too simplistic for my taste. As I get through it, it's challenging if you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. But when you actually double click on the states and look at issues that matter to the people in the states, you can very quickly just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Republican, but I care about gun control," as you're giving a speech in a pro gun control state, and then you go back to another state and you kind of contradict yourself, and that can get you in some trouble in some circumstances. But I feel like people are very willing to believe you on fringy issues that maybe they probably in a real world would not be quite so gullible.
Or maybe this is just the developer's way of kind of saying bad things about democracy.
Maybe it might be the developer's way of gamifying it too, right? Because when I was running as Bernie, Trump came in and won California in one of my games, and I was just like, that would never happen.
That just would not happen.
That's nuts.
So
what was the when you won? What was the state that kind of got you there?
There were a couple, which is pretty. I think the game is set up to make the current battleground states important. So, in that sense, I think the game got it right. I just think it's too easy to turn states that never would turn otherwise. But at least in my game, I think it probably resembled a more realistic election in the one that I won. In that winning the key states for me winning the election were winning Pennsylvania and Ohio. Those are sort of the two that probably put me over the edge. I can't remember if I won Florida or not. And I think I lost Wisconsin. I know that. But sort of in terms of the key battleground states, if you look around in the real world, Ohio and Pennsylvania are both, very important states, and then Florida obviously as well. And then Wisconsin to a lesser degree, but it's still another one of those battleground states. So, I found myself spending most of my time battling in the states that were instrumental in winning it for Trump in 2016, and will certainly be instrumental in whoever wins in 2020. Those same states. Oh, Michigan! I won Michigan too. That was another important state for me to win.
I just want to say that I mostly agree with what THG said, but I actually found the game very good. I thought that I like the level of strategic complexity that they ended up going with. They could have done more with it, but it's kind of nice to have it's a simpler game. I mean, that's compared to the games we're used to playing. It might be pretty complex for somebody who's used to action games. So I think they hit the right balance, and it makes it pretty easy to just pick up, play, and then drop. You can finish an entire game in an hour and a half. So
yeah, I played through my really sort of thoughtful game when I didn't just click through things, and I played through and I looked at all the detailed stats and all those other things. Played through that in about an hour. So definitely an easy to pick up and play game. I will say there's another game that's really sort of I'm debating looking into, and it's called The Political Process, which I think is more simulation than otherwise. It's very basic art style, a little bit of spreadsheet with some graphics. Same price as the Political Machine. It's $14.99, but in this game, apparently you run for political office, But then once you're in office, you actually have the ability to like write legislation, balance budgets, and more.
Oh wow.
As you attempt to move up the political hierarchy. So I think it's kind of like
It sounds like that game Democracy.
maybe, but it looks a little bit different. Like I think the focus is like you are a politician, and then you're trying to work your way up, and try and gain more and more power and whatnot. But it's pretty interesting here. Like I think it's more detailed than Democracy, to be honest. I think Democracy was a pretty basic game where you just had like basically tech tree type or policy type trees that you would go down.
I mean, I really like Democracy 3. Actually, they lost me at the DLC. I probably just improved the game, but it was that same as EU4 type thing where I knew how to play Democracy 3, the base game, and the DLC threw off my... They basically, I think that they were trying to rebalance some things because people were doing the same strategies. Those are probably the strategies I was using. And then in the DLC, I was kind of lost. So I didn't even bother trying to relearn the good strategy.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at one of the screenshots in here, and it's like there's an office tab, there's a campaign tab, politicians tab, elections, metrics, profile, news, overview, events, marketing, opponents, poll data, finance, contracts, staff, policy, volunteers, campaign map. So like this feels like it's a much deeper political sim, and based off what it's saying, it goes beyond just winning an election, which most of the games that come out around sort of the campaigning time or that focus on the presidential elections really don't deal with running for, like, once you're in office, they really don't deal with running things. Democracy might be a little bit different, but again, like this has treasury fund revenue, and this has expenditures, surplus deficit, road trust fund, social security fund, Medicare fund. Like this is all part of the policy screen. It's way more detailed than my experience with Democracy 2. I didn't really play Democracy 3. So I think it's a really interesting looking game where you can kind of create your own character, create your own politician, and you can, it's like starting location, pick a state, what are you trying to run for? And it has like maps down to like the county level for different types of campaigns that you're running. So I think it's interesting. There is sort of I think some elements of Democracy in here, but like I think it's a little bit more real looking to me. So I don't know how it plays. I haven't played it, so maybe I'll take the plunge and jump into it. Like there's a governor budget in here where you're like running as a governor of a state and you're running the state.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. I don't know if it's any good. It has actually a very positive rating on Steam with 406 total reviews and 66 recent reviews.
So is this like the out of the park baseball version of politics?
It might be. Like looking at it, it kind of reminds me of out of the park baseball to some extent, with more graphs. But yeah,
more graphs. Wow.
Well, I mean, out of the park baseball is more stats than graphs. But
okay.
Anyway.
Fair.
And this developer is their only game. It's Verlumino Studios LLC. It's the only game they have on Steam right now.
Yeah, I could tell. The graphics are very Microsoft Windows Paint kind of edition.
Yeah, but for games like this, I think that's okay. Like this one person says their political history, governor of West Virginia, and it shows like they ran like 6 campaigns as the governor of West Virginia. Then they became, that was the end of their political career. They started off mayor of a city for like 8 years. Then they were state representative, House Minority Leader, state representative, House Minority Leader, chair of the Conservative Democrats, state representative. So like this person has a huge career where they ended up the culmination of their career was being governor for about 20 years of West Virginia. But like they had this whole thing where they were a representative, mayor of a city, and all these other things. So it looks really interesting to me.
Yeah, it does look stat heavy, which is kind of attractive.